With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The Baltimore Ravens last night, as we kind of mentioned, they put a beating on the score was closer than the game actually was. They beat the Tampa Bay Bucks 41-31, and that's great and everything. But it once again showed that this team, I mean, they're straight up scary. They lost the season opener to the Kansas City Chiefs in a game that literally by, for those from
toes,
millimeters,
yeah,
millimeters, they lost that game by. Because, man, that should have been a touchdown. But by millimeters, one hair of a toenail over the line, caught in the end zone. So they lost that. The game I don't have an explanation for is their game in week 2 against the Raiders. When they dropped the game to the Raiders. I mean, there's that, whatever. They lost that by 3. But ever since then, they have looked absolutely unstoppable. They had what looked like at the time a very good win against Dallas. Then they beat Buffalo. Then they beat the Bengals, which again, they are better than their record suggests. Then they beat a very good Washington team. And now they just beat a very good Tampa Bay team. Their wins are solid, legit wins. And they're looking dominant doing it. Then you got Derrick Henry, who want to remind everybody, said he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, and the Dallas Cowboys said, we can't afford him. Okay? Well, Derrick Henry, first in the league in carries at 134 carries, so he's a workhorse. First in the league in yards, he's rushed for 873 yards. First in the league in touchdowns with 8 touchdowns. The guy is just a beast. And last night, I think he ran for what, 169?
Yeah, and the fact that a guy that big can run 23 miles an hour down the field and basically nobody can catch him is nuts.
He's got the power of a Marshawn Lynch. Like, he can go beast mode. He can totally go beast mode. Yeah. And it's just looking incredible. And then you got Lamar Jackson. You know, yesterday on the show we talked about, is Jared Goff like the most valuable quarterback in the league right now? And in that conversation we said, hey, and let's not forget about Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe just hand him his 3rd MVP now. Because Lamar Jackson has thrown for 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 15 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. He's literally just about thrown 6 times more touchdowns than he has interceptions. All right. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards. And last night, he threw for 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Oh, and by the way, he's one of the best rushers in the league. He's one of the best running backs in the league. The guy is like, he is the biggest threat with his legs of any quarterback in the league. And this is a league now that's getting used to having a lot of quarterbacks that can run.
He also comes with his own guardian cap.
His own built-in guardian cap. He's insane. He's run for, get this. You know, we just said that Henry leads the league with 800 plus yards. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, has rushed for 455 yards. 455 yards so far this season. 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, put up another 5 spot last night. I mean, he's starting to look like a serious league MVP. So here's the question then. You know, I was watching Rich Eisen, and he was saying he kind of maybe thinks they might be the best team in the league, even though his power rankings don't show, but he said they might. I'm telling you what, right now, I look at the Ravens, I watch them play. Here's my one knock on them. When you think of the Baltimore Ravens, when I hear that name over the past 10 years, the first word that pops into my head is defense.
Yeah.
They have a good defense. It's not that dominant defense that I'm kind of used to seeing from them. So they've been giving up points.
Yeah.
So like they gave up 31 against Tampa Bay. They gave up 23 against Washington. Again, that's a dynamic offense. Those are 2 dynamic offense, but that's 54 points in 2 games. They gave up 38 against the Bengals.
Yeah. Got him. Kind of got him.
They gave up 25 against Dallas, 23 against Vegas. And granted, they only gave up Sorry. Yeah. They only gave up. So they gave up 26 against the Raiders. Anyway, so their defense isn't as strong. I still think this might be the team that if I'm an NFL owner and you ask me, what would be the team in my nightmares that I don't want to run into next week? The Kansas City Chiefs are undefeated, but Patrick Mahomes is not having a Patrick Mahomes kind of year. Dominant defense, a lot of other pieces, but they're not dominating anybody. So I don't want to run into the Kansas City Chiefs, but not them. Buffalo, hey, when Buffalo's firing on all cylinders, they're formidable, but we've seen this season they don't always fire on all cylinders. And so, Minnesota, well, they just lost. The Detroit Lions, hey, they look damn good, but they're now a little bit weaker on defense with Hutchinson being out. I think right now, if I'm an NFL owner, the team in my nightmares that I don't want to run into next week is, even with their defense not being what it used to be, I think right now is the Baltimore Ravens. I think they might be the best team in the league right now. And it's funny because week to week I'm changing who I think is but that's the NFL season, right?
Yeah.
Right now, to me, just by the eye test, the team that looks the best to me is the Ravens. That pains me to say it, but I think so. Anyway, what is standing out to you when you look at the Ravens right now?
It's the way that they're dominating on offense. Like they're basically doing whatever they want for the most part. I think when we were watching the game the other day, you were like, how do you prepare for Lamar Jackson? You can play perfect defense and he makes one move and he's running for a first down or scrambling and throwing for a pass. Or in the case of like Derrick Henry, he's not really getting many carries and then he busts like a 65-yard run out of nowhere. So like, what are you preparing for? The numbers he's putting up are crazy. Their defense, like you said, is lacking. I think I looked it up. Their team defense is ranked 27th. So it's not great.
Yeah,
but
so
it doesn't need to be at this
when
point.
is the Ravens defense ranked that low?
Ever since Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all that, like they've had the crazy defense. But he's putting up crazy numbers. They're outscoring everybody by a ton. They have a comfortable lead. I think it's hard to say like KC is better or the Lions because they've struggled in some areas or injuries or whatever. But right now they're hitting their stride and doing well. But at the end of the day, will it could carry over into the playoffs? Because the issue is Lamar in the playoffs. I hate to say it. I love to see him play, but he throws picks and stuff in the playoffs, and they've lost. Hopefully this is year that won't happen. He's won the MVP already a couple times. So he could win it again, but will it carry over into the playoffs? But right now, I agree. They're probably the best team and one of the hardest to prepare for with the way he and Derrick Henry are playing right now.
And here's the problem with them too. You talk about getting to the playoffs. That defense, if they don't make some adjustments here and fix some things, the problem is when they get into the playoffs, they're going to run into teams like the Buffalo Bills, who, guess what? Buffalo can put up a lot of points. They're going to run into, at some point, a Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. And guess what? Even though Patrick Mahomes isn't having a Patrick Mahomes kind of year, you don't think he can light you up if he really needs to? He'll light them up. If you get far, you're going to run into a Detroit Lions. And guess what Detroit's going to do? They're going to run up a lot of points. And if their defense doesn't get better, that's going to be their problem. But, man, this is a formidable monster in the dark shadows kind of team right now that is looking like really damn scary. So anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the Baltimore Ravens last night? Again, they put up, this year, last night they put up another really good performance. 5 touchdowns, no picks, 169 rushing yards for Henry. This is a scary looking team, but is their defense going to be their Achilles heel? Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.